We're back.
Yes, we are.
All right. Let's see. It's been almost a couple of years since Sandy and I have done a show together.
That is, I think that's the longest space that we've had since all this began, all that time ago.
Yeah. Well, you haven't even really done many shows since then. John does walking, and you come on the prayers on Monday every once in a while. But
John overtook walking. In fact, because I have things I want to say. I'm trying to figure out, do I kick him off, which I can't because people like what he has to say. But so the only other solution is I have to create my own show.
yeah.
I'm going to have my own show.
Yeah, well, there we go. I can do that for you, Sandy. I can.
Yeah, because that's all I can say. I've been like, well, I would like to say this, and I would like to talk about this or teach about this, and I don't have a venue because, yeah.
Well,
he ran with it, and people love it. So if people love what he's saying, then he needs to stay there. But
that's what this is all about, is getting the message out. So it's awful hot in here. I don't know. How do you do your hair? How do you wear your hair? Because it's hot to me. You know, I mean,
the minute the show is over, everybody that knows me, it goes up into a clip. You know that. I wear a clip. My hair is rarely ever down. So, unless I'm going on a date with my husband or preaching or teaching, and then it's down. Otherwise, my hair is always up.
Yeah. Anywhere where there's air conditioning or it's cool or whatever. I'm with you.
And one other time. When I go to the gym at 3, which was 2:00 this morning because I couldn't sleep, I leave it down because I'm cold when I walk into the gym. So I wait till I lift some weights a little bit, then I get hot and it goes up because I'm cold. So I use it as my coat. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Buff Sandy. That's what we'll start calling you, is Buff Sandy. Don't get any arguments with her, because
I am not working out to build and get bulk like my son does. I'm working to be toned because I'll be 60 years old in May. So okay. I want to be toned and fit. That's my goal.
Well, I tell you what, you're doing pretty good for 60. During the past couple of years that we haven't done any shows, there's been a lot of stuff that we've gone through. And talking about age, I turned 71 again last September.
I know.
Yeah, see, so it's like when I turned 70, let's see, I fell and broke a disc in my back, and then I fell on a trailer and broke a rib, and a couple other things happened. That was within like the first couple of weeks after I turned 70. So I said, I don't like the 70 stuff. So I started saying I'm 71. So all through my year of being 70, I was 71. When I turned 71, I was 71 again. So there we go.
Wow. I don't know what to say about that, but
it's one of those things that happens to us. And so, well, the name of the show, the new show we're doing here, is kind of based on all the other shows we've done. What is it? 3 or 4 other shows we did. We did the planet. Let's see, Only Visiting This Planet. Then we did The Next Chapter. Is that what we did?
I did, yes. The Next Chapter.
And then what was the one we did? Right, we did another one.
Chapter Planet.
Planet Chapter.
But yeah, Planet Chapter.
Planet Chapter. And now we're doing this. The World We Live In. So, the world we live in. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful world it is. I mean, we have to see the good. There's so much bad that we have to see the good. And I think that's my big deal. One of my big deals about serving God is that it gives me a perspective of seeing the world, seeing the good in the world, and having to just deal with the bad stuff and let God handle it. Do you agree? I mean, isn't that
that is I agree. That's the outlook I should have all the time, but it's not always the outlook I put out
right.
there.
That's right.
But that is
Yeah.
what I should do all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get so frustrated because the darkness is darkness, and light is light, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way we're created in the world. But injustice and evil
Yeah.
really bothers me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those that are in charge of everything seem to be full of that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so it frustrates me. But yes,
if you live in the world, you dwell on the darkness. And
we can't
when
live in
you
the world.
live for God, then it's just I try to see the good in everything. I did a funeral for my cousin who had committed suicide, and I officiated I didn't officiate it. I got up and spoke, and of course, it was a somber type thing because he committed suicide. But
right.
When I got up there, I started telling jovial things that my cousin and I had been through in our life. A lot of real good, excellent, positive things instead of dwelling on anything that had happened. And afterwards, his wife thanked me for that because it was so much different. And that's, I just have to look at the world that way. I just have to. Yeah. So hopefully we can bring that into the show.
That perspective is what should happen. And I think it's excellent because whenever I've never done a funeral, of course, John has. And what happens in their death, we are still supposed to celebrate life and the life that God gave us, and the opportunities He's given us. And so that's great. And you brought encouragement. And I guarantee you, not only did you bring encouragement to his wife, but to others who were there and lifted their hearts. So
yeah.
Is that an example?
Yeah.
Because you're only visiting this planet. Oh, yeah, that's the wrong show.
No, I think it's going to morph in and out of this show. They always do on our show. So we get a little wacky. But Father, we thank you for the world that you've given us. And we do everything we possibly can to make the world a better place, to know you, to know the things that you do for us and how you take care of us. Father, we are so grateful for all those things when we have to put up with the worldly systems. And we thank you for it. We thank you that you bring us through all this. Thank you for this new show that Sandy and I are doing. And I ask you to bless it, Lord. B'Shem Yeshua Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Father.
Hallelujah.
All right. Okay. Well, I've got a bunch of fun stuff for us to do. So the title of our show, The World We Live In, is synonymous with the song Land of Confusion by the band Genesis and the immortal words of Mike Rutherford. And I put together a little thing here. Be aware you're going to see a few of these. What?
I have to say something though about that really quickly. this morning, it was 6:30 maybe, I don't know, something like that. Was sitting here and all of a sudden you hear all of these birds and it's coming from where we have our peach tree, and both mom's cat and my cat take off as fast as they can because it was these birds making all this noise. And so I heard that and I'm like, it just reminded me of what happened. The predator went immediately to the window. Of course they can't get to the birds, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
both went immediately to the window to seek their prey.
yeah. I love it. I love it. I don't know you. I'm sure you've watched America's Funniest Videos. A lot of their videos are videos of cats that see something outside and go jump to the window or something, or the things like that. Always funny. Always funny. Speaking of cats, I we had a couple of feral cats in our neighborhood lately, and they don't belong to anybody. Probably somebody just dumped them off or something. And within the past couple of months, we have had the local animal control bring us a cage, and we have caught, in the past couple of months, we have caught 19 cats, Sandy. 19 of them.
But do you know what's going to happen
They
to
weren't
those cats?
raccoons. They were cats. Go ahead.
They're going to kill them.
They're going to try to give them away first. I don't care. We don't want the 19 stinking cats running through our
I
yard.
have a question. Do you have a mouse issue? Have you had a mouse issue this year?
No, we never.
See?
No,
See?
yeah,
See?
no, we
It's
still.
the cats.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll take mouse traps any day over cats, but they do harm. They actually tore up Donna's garden last summer. I mean,
To go to the
literally.
bathroom in it?
What's that?
To go to the bathroom in it?
Yes, and we have a netting around to keep animals out, and they ripped the netting wide open in several places. I just got tired of it, and it's like I went out and bought a BB gun. Well, at least it wasn't a real gun, but bought a BB gun, and you tried to chase them off, but you can't chase them off. And so I finally got a hold of animal control, and anyway, we'll bring the trap over if you want to use it.
No. Did you know she just turned 16?
Wow.
Yeah. She just turned 16. So she's over here crying because she wants to sit in my lap. Yeah. Since we went to Houston to see John's mom, she doesn't want to leave me. She thinks she has to be glued to me. So since we're talking about cats, I'm going to talk about this sweet girl. She doesn't need a cat trap.
No, she doesn't. But the one feral cats do. So anyway, it's just stuff that's happened in the past couple of years. What's been crazy with you?
Well, my past year, has been focused. A good part of the year has just been taking care of mom. In fact, Passover is the day that we went into the hospital and she passed away the Sunday afterwards. So the first day of the week after that. So Tuesday, we went into hospital on Tuesday after I made the meal or got things ready, and then she passed away. So we're coming up on a year, but basically for the last year and 4 months, it's been focused on mom, settling mom's stuff, taking care of everything. That has filled my life up, and then adding another grandchild.
Yeah.
But I've had on the war room, I've said, I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed out because the baby that Noah won't sleep. She's finally sleeping. But now my almost 2-year-old, she'll be 2 next month, is throwing all sorts of fits and crying constantly. So I'm like, oh. So yeah, yesterday I I had to just keep carrying her into the bedroom and closing the door because she kept screaming and it wakes the baby up. So anyway, that's what her mom and dad do. So anyway, that's what I was doing is taking her in there. And she'd be quiet about 60 seconds and start playing. But so now my life is filled with, since mom's house is settled, that my life is filled with grandchildren and homeschooling and life of worship and
Uh-huh.
same
Uh-huh.
old, I guess, really.
And you love every second of it.
You and I've talked. The, yeah,
I can say that if I want to. You know. Yeah,
I do love my girls. I do
yeah,
love my girls. And,
yeah.
I'm getting used. Noah got to experience something yesterday that mom and dad and the other grandma did. She rolled over for the first time yesterday for me twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
mama's like, oh, I wish I would have seen it. But yeah, she did it. And then she was laughing and doing, but anyway, those are just grandbaby stories.
Great,
That's what my
great.
life is full of.
Great to have
So,
Jonathan around, isn't it?
oh, yes. Yes. And he's so good and
Yeah.
he's a great guy and a good dad and he sees things like I do. He's very much he sees things like I do
Yeah. Good.
in attitudes and raising children and all of that. He, of course, we raised him, so of course he does. He likes up. He's a good guy, and
I'm with you. I love Jonathan. He's good. It just you guys are just way too far away. You know?
well,
So.
I should I break the news
Ah,
about the 7th
the
month?
7th of April.
No, or about, okay, maybe not then. Well, we do have a change that's going on since we're talking about current events, or not current events, but things going on in our lives.
Uh-huh.
Um, John and I will not be doing this year Sukkot at our Sukkot place in Spearman, Texas. We
Uh-huh.
are going to be joining Lion and Lamb this year,
Okay.
and so we need all of the people. Bob and everybody else can still hang out with us and be with us. So I still want that, but
Uh-huh.
we're going to be in Oklahoma. So
Okay.
we're going to be we're running the youth and doing morning prayer and some worship.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear all of it, but after certain circumstances from before,
I yeah.
I would say that's a huge deal. So,
It is
and
huge,
you're
and
comfortable with it, right?
I I mixed
Yeah. Okay.
the thought of not having our own because I love our own.
Yeah.
Concerns me, but Eddie called last year and asked us to do Eddie Chumney, and then he called this year and said, come, we want this. You could do, and I was going to say no until I was definitely going to say no. And then two of the people at Life of Worship, two of the ladies said, what is best for Life of Worship?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I thought about that and I was like, I never considered that. I was considering being with my family and, what we've created because I love what we've created. And it doesn't mean we're going to do it next year, but this year, this is where we're going to be.
Well, good
So,
deal. Good deal.
Joining. And so why I said that is you can come to Oklahoma and do if you want.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. You know us,
So,
we're scattered. So,
and yeah, I know. And if you got everybody out there that's listening and you want to go to Life of Worship Sukkot, well, you can still join John and I and all that we do because we'll do stuff too. And just say I want to camp out by John and Sandy.
there you go.
Want to camp out by John and Sandy.
All right.
I would love to have somebody at least around campfire named Mark David Smith, but
Hey, you never know. You never know.
That's how we met all those years ago.
That's right.
Was through prayer.
We
So
we could come full circle. I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is great. We've had a good couple of years, and a lot of things have happened, and we're moving on, and so it's time to get the show started back up and spend some time together with you and me and everybody else. And
That's
here
right.
we are. Yay. Well, okay. Well, let me just tell everybody, each week we're going to divide the show up into segments, like current events, media moments. We'll have guests who bring their own baggage in the form of discussion topics and their videos and things. And we're going to preview some promos like the one you just saw there. And all kind of course skits and games. Sandy and I don't know how to do a show without skits and games.
That's right.
Little video shorts. I might even read a section from a chapter of one of my books or something, my prayer books and things like that. And of course, we're going to have Sandra's Corner, where she's going to bring a topic. We always want to do that. Health segments. We might talk about the Constitution. Remember the rest of the story.
I love that.
We'll have to bring that back. I've got a lot of stuff I want to share about archaeology. I've really got into watching documentaries on archaeology, and it's amazing what people are finding these days. I just love every second of it I can get. And so we might talk about that a little bit. Who knows? So, Sandy, what segments are we doing today? We talked about this ahead of time. If we get to them.
If we get to them.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to do something about words.
Yeah.
What happened only today in history?
Yeah.
Maybe Sandra's Corner. But first, of course. Mark, you have a segment that you want to throw in here.
Oh, yeah.
And he says this. It's the segment of all segments. So let's stand by. I'm sure we're going to be amazed.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You bet. Here we go.
Darkness can't hide much longer. The spirit is getting stronger. You keep the dance halls humming, but the end of the age is coming. I searched all around the world to find the greater truth. I opened the mouth to love and I found the wisdom too. Maybe you think I'm plastic, but your situation's drastic. I'm glad my faith is stronger. This world won't last much longer.
I love making them little things. I just do. So, Sandy, our first segment's called Identify. I identify as. Surely you know this world is screwed up with all the identify as stuff going on. So today I'm identifying as Albert Mann. And my middle name is Hugh. But you doesn't have to call me Hugh, and you doesn't have to call me Al. Most just call me A.
Hey. So your full name is Albert Hugh Mann?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So if I call you A, then your name is A. Hugh Mann?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Okay.
That's right. Yes. And I had a pick, but I don't have it anymore. So that's who I am today. There you go. So what is it that you're identifying as today there, Miss Sandy Lou?
Well, I identify as Anita Fiona Maley.
So if I call you Fee, then you would be a Fee male? Okay, then a human and a female walk into a church.
Yes, everybody, we are back.
I love putting those little things together. I just love to put a smile on your face, and I know these things make you smile, but the world has just gone total whack-o on these identify as. And of course, since Trump's been in office, it's kind of died down a little bit, and you don't hear about it as much. But what was it at one time, like on Facebook, there was like 56 different adverbs or whatever on names or identified titles or whatever like that. And
I thought there was like 80, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's 56. I looked
Okay.
that up a little while ago, and there was 56, and they still have them there. You know, I mean, you can still do that, but anyway, it is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you ever run into anybody that does this, but I do every once in a while.
I think I did. It might have been at the hospital or something. Somebody said something, and I was like, I wanted to say something back, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I just left it.
Yeah, and that is the key to all this, is we just have to leave it alone and let God sort it out. What's the old saying? Kill them all and let God sort them out. Well, we're not going to do that. You know, still, it's, hey, let them have their fun for now. It's just not reality. That's my deal. It's not reality.
It's confusion, and we know who the author of confusion
That's
is.
right.
So,
Yep. This is the land of confusion. That's right.
it's true.
It is. It is. But in a lot of different ways, it's getting sorted out, and God is in control. That's the one thing we got to keep in mind, is God is in control, and we're going according to plan.
The one person we've got to watch out for is ourselves. We got to make ourselves right. And
that is exactly right.
right.
We're not accountable for anybody else.
Nope.
You know, on Judgment Day, I'm not going to stand next to you and say, hey, you know, I thought she was pretty cool. You know, hey, you know,
That
she's
won't help
all
me a
right.
bit. Right. And vice versa.
Well, you
we
know,
did these shows together. Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to, under the table, give me a little cash, then I'll be glad to stand there next to you on Judgment Day and, you know, say a good word about you.
I'll pass.
Oh, you'll pass. All right. You think you're doing okay without it, huh?
I don't know about that, but
Oh, I do. All right. Well, that's good. The world is crazy, and we're bringing light to the darkness is what we're trying to do on this show, is bring things out and give you, for all the darkness, Sandy and I want to give everybody an alternative to that darkness and a life that you can live in the light. And that's what it's about. So,
and guess what, folks? Laughter is good medicine.
that's exactly right.
And don't we need to have a dose of medicine as we start our day?
That's right.
Just saying.
That's right. That's good.
Isn't that right, A?
That's right, Fiona P. That's right, P. All right. Yep. All right. We're going to have fun on this show. We're going to cover a lot of different things. The next one we're going to do here is I like to play with words. And so we're going to do this. This is an old segment we used to do on both a bunch of our shows, but also on Compass of Cram. And I love that intro. We'll bring out some of those things, but every week, Fiona and I will bring some word or expression to the table that is misused in our modern worldly society and or religious groups. Sometimes we may bring one of our favorite words or expressions. We'll bring its history and discuss how it's used. Sandy, you want to start?
No, I think you should start.
You think I should start?
Yeah.
Okay. Noahide. You're familiar with Noahide. So I'm going to ask you, what is your thoughts on...
You tell me.
No, I don't get to do that. Well, it's based on, where I'm at with it. Anyway, I've been doing a show on Tuesdays called Peter Kamor. And the guy I'm doing it with is a Jewish person from the UK. And he has amazing insights into a lot of things. But of course, he sees it from the Jewish perspective.
Right.
See? And we see it from the perspective of how we've been raised and the way we understand it. Doesn't make either one of them right or wrong. It's just a perspective. And there are so many things that, let's just put it this way. First of all, you and I are living a messianic lifestyle, right? We're not living a Christian lifestyle at all, but we did at one time. And the reason that we changed our belief system, even though it's still based on the original belief system, we've changed it because we found out a few different things. I think the Lord is just putting his glory on you there.
I'm like,
yeah, there you go. Anyway, so we learn things that, let me put it this way. In my Christian days, believe it or not, I had a lot of red flags. I believed in God, but all the doctrines and dogmas and everything I was being taught, I would analyze them. I'd look into them. I'd search it out in the scriptures, and I would see that a lot of things I was being taught didn't necessarily line up with what the Bible was saying about it, or what I understood, or what I believed. And so I'm always looking for more. And then when somebody brought me the Torah perspective into my Christian life, all the doors and windows started flying open. All the ones that were shut before was flying open. And now I feel the same way now when I do the show with Yossi, is that he is explaining so many things of depth that I've just never seen before. And one of those things is the Jewish perspective of Noachides, what they call Noachides. Now, you're familiar with Acts 15, right?
mm-hmm.
Acts 15 lines out when you have a lot of Gentiles coming into the Jewish synagogues, or what, they knew Yeshua. They, they didn't have churches. They didn't have Messianic synagogues. So they would come into the Jewish synagogues, and they had to deal with these people because, they just weren't Jewish. So Acts 15 is what they call the Noahide laws, because this is something you can do. Now, there's a place, and I didn't look it up, and I should have, but there's a place where it says, like the Yeshua, I think, said the Sadducees or the Pharisees do what they say, but don't do what they do. I wish I'd have looked it up, but I didn't. But what Yossi is explaining is that there are things that are required of people that are Jewish, and then there's things that are required if you want to serve God of people that aren't Jewish. And so their perspective on that is that there is a different aspect to having a place in the world to come. And that's what it's about, is that a Jewish person, if you want to identify as a Jewish person, you are required to be and do certain things. But if you're not a Jewish person, you're not required. Now, there's the key word here, is required. And anyway, so as I started learning about what he was teaching, which is very, very good, I explained to Yossi, it's not a matter of being required to do anything or not required to do anything. In our perspective, in our understanding, in how we are. And it's not even a deal of we get to serve God this way. It's a perspective of we want to serve God. We want to do the things. We want to do Sukkot. We want to do Passover. We want to serve God. We want to meet every Sabbath. We want to do Friday night services. We want to do all kinds of these things that the Jews are so blessed at having for their culture. We want that culture too, and we can do it. We want to do it. We don't have to be required to do it or not do it. And it was an epiphany to Yossi, because he had never heard anybody say that before. And so it's this show is really kind of morphed into him teaching me and me teaching him and sharing this. So I have learned that before I met Yossi, I was real negative towards being called Noahide, because my understanding of Noahide was that was the way the Jews were looking down on us, like we're second-class citizens. So you're Noahides and we're Jews and all that, which is absolutely not the way it is at all. If you're a true Jew, you believe in being a Noahide is a place in the world to come. And it is, you do have favor with God, and it's not like Jews are going to heaven and Gentiles are going to hell. It's not like that at all. So it has kind of changed my perspective of being a Noahide. Once again, I'm just happy to do the things that God has laid out for us to do, and we do it. So that's my take on Noahide. So if you've ever had a negative understanding, somebody's taught you negative about being a Noahide, don't take that, because it's just not true.
What does he do with there is one law for the Jew and one law for the Gentile? What does he do with that? There's one law that everyone's supposed to obey. You don't have some do one and some do the other. The word is very clear that we're all grafted in, including the Jewish people, because they sinned even more than Ephraim. They just came back. So everyone has to be grafted in. So what do they do with the word saying there's only one law for everybody, and everybody must obey that law?
Uh-huh.
Because I mean that's very clear in the words. You can't parse the words out. It's very clear. And in that case, then what you have is Caleb, who's a leader in Judah. Well, he's a Noahide, and that doesn't work either. He's considered. See, I don't care what the perspective is. I still And then you have what is happening right now is they're wanting to enact Noahide laws where if somebody that is not of Jewish descent will actually be killed if you do Sabbath and all those other things. So for me, even hearing that, I think that's great that they don't consider that, but I would dare say not everybody has that perspective because
Yep,
many are still trying to keep, instead of looking for their brother Ephraim and the other tribes, they are trying to keep them out. So, and in that case, and so I still, there's but one law for the Jew and one law for the Gentile. So I'm of the perspective, if you call yourself a believer, doesn't matter. We're supposed to be Hebrew, crossed over, and we obey all of the Torah. Otherwise, we're no different from Christians who pick and choose. Oh, I'm a Noahide. Well, then you're a Christian and you can pick and choose which ones you want to obey. Well, and the Messianics and Hebrew roots still do that.
That's not the
because, well, to me, everyone who calls themselves a true person that really loves Yeshua, follows his ways, filled with the Spirit, follows the Torah, you follow all the Torah, whatever your background may be, because every one of us, including those that identify as Jewish, have to be grafted back into the tree. So the tree's branches were all cut off because of our sin. Anyway, that's my perspective.
That's good. It's really good. I'll take it on the other side. Yossi is both, I mean, he's Jewish, both his father and mother were Jewish. That's not the way they even look at it. There's a thing called Yikus, and it's the hierarchy of the Jewish understanding. And Yossi is Jewish, but he still calls himself a Noahide. See? So there's so many different ways to look at it and perspectives of looking at it. And yes, there are some Orthodox Jews that absolutely do not see it that way. Yossi does. As a matter of fact, Yossi had to get permission from his higher up to actually teach on my station.
Wow.
You know, because they want to be careful how this is put out. But it's Yossi's whole ministry is to go out and open these things up to Christians, is what it is. But he's been doing it a while, but he's never met anybody like me. So we're balancing things out. And that's one of the things that I need to do in my life, is to make sure things are balanced. I'm not just going to believe something because that's what's being taught. I want to go every aspect and every perspective and make my own choice, because Sandy's not going to be standing next to me on Judgment Day and say, I think he was a pretty cool
guy. That's true. I just think of that, and then I think of all the things that happen. I'm going to be held accountable for every idol. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, you got to look at that. Yeah. Anyway,
we need to.
So, all right. Well,
I can always do better. Well, and that's a great discussion, and
I love it. I really do. I love it. We've been doing the show for just over a year now. And of course, I hardly speak anything, but he likes having me there, and he wants me to interrupt him and, give my perspective. And it's one of the funnest shows I've ever done, without Sandy Craig, without Fiona.
No, we don't have to qualify it. It is one of the funnest shows you've ever done of anything. So
that's right. I love it.
And that's okay.
I like it. All right. What's your word, Sandy?
Okay. I'm going to take a word that everybody already says, I know what it means, especially Messianic circles. And it is the word holy. I know what that means. It's set apart. This Messianic is set apart. It's set apart. Maybe that's not all. But when you look at it, the world doesn't see it that way. The non-Christian sure doesn't see that way. Merriam-Webster actually says holy is exalted or worthy or complete devotion as one perfect in goodness and righteousness. But no, holy is much bigger than we know. And most of the Christian community thinks of it as purity or moral purity. We're holy. Christians say holy. They don't have that concept. And for the non-Christian, really, holy has little or no meaning at all. What I'm thinking of Batman, the 60s Batman, Robin saying, holy, whatever.
Holy, yeah.
Holy, I can't even think.
Holy Bam Bam, holy pow.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so the non-Christian world really doesn't have a concept at all. But, and we do know that being holy, in part, it is separation. I mean, it is being set apart. But I want us to look at it a little bit more broadly. And I've taught on this at Life of Worship, but since we're doing words, I wanted to expand it on the audience here. And when we look at Kadosh, I want to challenge everyone to say, not only is it set apart, but it also means fully devoted. You say, what? It doesn't mean that. Stay with me. Because the concept is not that something is set apart, but why is something set apart? Why are we set apart? And we may think maybe being devoted should even be the focus of being holy, because we're set apart to be devoted to what? Because things that are devoted are going to stand out and be treated with special care. And because they are used for what? For an extraordinary purpose. That's why they are holy. Now, I'm going to get into some more ifs and outs and why I'm thinking that way too. But being set apart may be one of the results of being holy, but just being set apart, I don't think it makes it holy in and of itself, by itself, at least when you're talking to things that live and breathe like us. Okay. We have to be devoted, because I know their utensils are set apart and things like that, but why? They're devoted to what? They're devoted to the temple service. They're devoted to Yah. They're devoted to Him. But Matthew Wilson has a study on holiness, and it's really good. And he is the one that talks about being set apart. It means devoted. We are to be devoted to God in the same way. How is He to us? He is devoted to you and I. He is devoted to us. Yahweh is devoted to us, His creation. It says, therefore you are to be devoted therefore you are to be holy as your Father is holy. Let's put devoted in there. Therefore you are to be devoted as your Father is devoted. And that is something we can do. We can choose Yahweh. We can choose Yehovah in our circumstances. We can pursue Him despite our failures and mistakes. Yes, we're set apart, but there's more action that's required than just, I'm set apart, I'll sit here. No, because devotion requires action. Just like David, he was a man full of vigor for Yehovah, but he was just a man. He made mistakes, big ones, just like you and I do. That means that the crucial passage in Leviticus should be read maybe as Yah's desire for reciprocity. Think about that. Think about that word reciprocity. It's because being devoted to Him, if David was a man after Yah's own heart, but he was not a perfect man. So that should bring encouragement to be holy, to be devoted, to be set apart for Yah. Doesn't mean we have to be perfect, because we can't reach perfection. David never reached perfection. No one in the Word ever reached perfection. No one. So I'm even thinking of Elijah taken away running for, we can go on with story after story that he uses to teach us, that talks to us about being set apart, being devoted. So it's not about being perfect. Being set apart is about being committed. We need to be committed to Him, because commitment and devotion carries a lot of weight to it, because your care, concern, and consideration, consistency in what we're doing with Yah, our time with Him, daily devotion. But devotion isn't measured by a standard by man. We like to measure things and quantify and qualify things, and it's not measured that way. It's not measured by our agenda or our thoughts. Because if you and I are what holiness means in Yah, then it has to be in us too. That holiness, he is holy, so we are holy. He is devoted, so we are devoted. That means he has poured himself out for you and me because he loves us. He's devoted to us. But by that same token, our actions should should show that reciprocity, should do the same thing as well, because belonging to him, there's loving devotion to him should be irreversible and unconditional and without any reservation on our part. Well, you didn't do this or this didn't happen. No, our devotion is an action that should be ongoing. Holy is so much more than just pure moral purity or a word that can be used haphazardly or just set apart, because kadosh is about devotion. And in Ezekiel, the purpose of Shabbat, of Yah Shabbat, is so that his people will remember that he makes them holy, that he makes them devoted. We are devoted to him. It's about him when we come together. We are told to gather together, but it's about him. Wilson says that his devotion is the basis of our devotion. So Shabbat is the time when we remember, discover, and experience Yah's devotion to us. And I must tell you, yes, when we are open, when we put ourselves on that altar and we're willing to burn, it does reflect Yah's devotion to us because he pours himself out. This last week during service, oh my goodness, we never even got to the message. We were in worship and the power and the presence of Yah was so thick. Some couldn't stand, some couldn't move. It was so thick we couldn't move forward. He was saying, he was doing, and I know, well, what did he say? Well, that we're not going there right now. But we are supposed to be that burnt offering, that whole offering on the altar. But and what happens to that? A burnt offering gives everything. So the consequences of giving everything is what? Death to our life, death to our flesh. And if Yah wants praise, Yah will have to, he keeps us there so that we can be devoted to him. So I think that describing a relationship with Yah, it's not necessarily a pathway, because he says obedience is better than sacrifice. And obedience doesn't ensure you have a desired relationship. We can go through the motions of Torah and do everything it says, but our heart's not in it. We're not devoted to him in our heart, in our mind, deep within our very soul, because obedience should be the result of the experience of the relationship we have. And that's what you told him. That's what you told. You said, we desire to do Torah. That's what you said. We desire to have that kind of relationship so that we are set apart and completely devoted to him. So hallelujah, that he takes the imperfect and doesn't require perfection, but he does want us to be holy. He does want us to be set apart, more than pure, as the world says, purity. I believe it's more than set apart, because something can be set apart but not devoted. But we are a holy people because we are set apart and devoted. The real idea of holiness, that continuous progressive activity, not yet completed, we're still in it, we're still doing it. That's what we are. And anyway, so I could say more, but that is my perspective on holy and holiness.
And I agree with you 100%. Everything you said. Being set apart is not a concept. It's a reality to how we live. You know, it's not, you can't be set apart and be in the world. That's the way I see it. So you can't use the word holy in the world. That's like the word, and I've said this, we've talked many times, the word blessed or blessing is just not a word that the world uses. They use holy, as just like Jesus, they've made it a cuss word. And holy whatever is holy crap. I've heard people say holy crap, and other stuff. And it's you can't put the two together, just like we can't put the two together. We can live in the world, but we have to live in the world as set apart and different than the world. If they can't tell, if somebody else can't tell that you're set apart, might want to look into it a little bit better.
Because there's no devotion.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're devoted to the things of the world, you can't also be devoted to the things of God.
Right.
It's just, that's set apart. That there is a divided line there. There's a divided line where a set apart person can go into the world and remain set apart, but a person that is in the world can't enter into the set apart part of us and still maintain that, because there's always going to be the draw back to the world if you're not devoted to it. That's the way I see it.
And see, when men are devoted to Yehovah, righteousness prevails.
Mm-hmm.
Devotion to Yah is faith, because faith is really being faithfulness. So yeah, it all plays together. Yeah.
I love it. I'm getting rid of the next half-hour show, so we're going to go on for another half hour.
Okay.
We have to now.
We're having too much fun, right?
We are. I am so glad to be back. I'm enjoying every second of this.
I'm glad to hear that.
Good.
I wouldn't want you to go, oh, I shouldn't have done this. It's a drudgery. You've done it before.
No.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right. And so have you got anything for what happened today in history?
I sure do.
Okay, let's go into it. Here we go. Hold up.
So you want to go back to Egypt, where it's warm and secure? Are you sorry about the one-way ticket when you thought you were sure?
Okay, you always get me dancing.
I know. All of my little videos are bobblehead videos, because every time you listen to one of them, you want to bobble.
Well, and if you saw what was going on all the videos, my head is bobbling.
I love it. All right.
Okay, so
you get to start this one.
Okay, I'm doing it. Doing it. Did you want me to say some preface to it, or just jump in?
No, whatever you got.
All right. On this day in history, now this is I've looked some stuff up. I don't know, but it is said, some sources say on this very day, some sources, not all, some, that March 12th, 515 BC, 516, the Jewish, is what it says, I'm quoting, the Jewish Holy Temple is completed. And it stood between 516 BC and 70 CE. And of course, we know all about that. We'll see. But another thing that happened this day is Coca-Cola was put in bottles. Now, I don't know if you remember what Coca-Cola was initially made with. What was it, Mark?
Cocaine.
Yeah. And so the soft drink Coca-Cola was sold in bottles for the first time in a candy store in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. The soft drink was invented by John S. Pemberton in 1886, and he called it a steamed brain tonic and intellectual beverage. He did not say it eats nails or gets you high. Didn't say those things.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened on this day was the Loch Ness Monster hoax was exposed. Maybe you would say that. In 1994, the surgeon's photo reportedly taken by Colonel Robert Wilson is called a hoax in a deathbed confession by Chris Sperling, who claimed he helped create the picture, the photo. Okay, so for
No,
all you Loch Ness monster people out there,
no.
no.
The Loch Ness monster's real, Sandy.
Well, we do know Leviathan lives in the sea, but the sea also can represent the people. You know, huh. One more thing that I put, there's a lot that happened on this day.
Yeah, I
Mark
know.
can
I
go on
thought
and
to
on.
you.
But this has to do with Dennis the Menace. Yeah, Hank Ketchum's comic strip Dennis the Menace debuts on this very day in 1951.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, guess what? It was actually based on his real life son, Dennis Ketchum, who earned the nickname Dennis the Menace when he was 4 years old. Imagine. He was fun.
Uh-huh. I
And then
think
what
he just died too.
did he?
Uh-huh.
And one final thing was the Salt March in 1930 happened here, and that was Mahatma Gandhi's Salt March, which was an act of civil disobedience against British rule in India. Those are the things that I recorded today for what's happening.
And only today in history.
That's only today.
Only today.
This day in history, way back when.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I found that in the year 538, okay, I'm going to preface this with, I actually put this in here because it's got a lot of big words I'm not going to be able to say. So I just thought, oh, this will be fun to try. So Witiges, king of the Ostrogoths, ends his siege in Rome and retreats to Ravenna, leaving the city in the hands of the victorious Byzantine general Belisarius. So that should be very interesting to everybody. I don't know why, but it should. Okay, but this one I really liked, trying to bring it back into the religious perspective. In the year 1455, first record of Johannes Gutenberg's Bible, a letter dated this day by this guy, refers to the Bible printed a year earlier. The Gutenberg Bible, also known as the 42-line Bible, Mazarin Bible, represents a pivotal moment in European history as the first major book printed with mass-produced movable type. Its production initiated the Gutenberg Revolution, making books more widely accessible and contributing, or as they say in England, contributing to the spread of literacy, education, and knowledge across Europe. The text is an edition in the Latin Vulgate, a translation of the Hebrew Bible and Greek New Testament by St. Jerome, with emendations from the Parisian Bible tradition. I think is very interesting because it is the Gutenberg Bible, which is, I mean, just that in itself was one of the very first Bibles that actually went out and people were able to take this and actually read the words of God. And so that was a huge, huge thing, because after that is when they started mass producing more and more and more. And the fact that you have a Bible today is the result of this very first deal. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, can you imagine never being able to put your hands and see the word for yourself?
I know it.
It would be a horrible, horrible thing.
Well, yeah. Think about Yeshua's day.
Yeah.
I mean, the only word they had was you have to go to the
feet.
synagogue and either talk to the rabbi and read the text. But most people in Yeshua's day couldn't read. I mean, even Hebrew and stuff were something only for the religious or the special people, or things things like teachers and things like that. So the fact that people were able to read by this time was also a huge thing.
Well, think about it. That's one of the reasons Yeshua going out and pouring out the word out of his mouth, because he was the word, but pouring it out and teaching, the common man could go hear it and experience. And doesn't have to go to the synagogue, but could go out and hear it and experience and then see it in action through Yeshua himself. And so people were drawn to that because think about it. In circles, hearing the word and seeing men or women of God, there's something in our spirit that is we are attracted to that, because that is that living word coming forth. And when you, and this, maybe this is bad, but when you see an anointed single man or woman, people, they tend to have suitors in part because that word going forth that brings forth life, something in their spirit identifies it, and then their flesh says, oh, I want to be with that person. But our spirit is hungry to hear that word. And when the people in Yeshua's time were hearing him speak it, it became available to them in a way and in a format that they could understand, accept, and see in action, and more readily available than it was to just go to the synagogue.
There you go. There you go. Of course, today we have thousands of different translations, and everybody and everything they want to do, all their opinions and their perspectives and everything. When I was first teaching a class years and years ago on why we believe what we believe, I found that there were, like at that time, 9,337 different denominations of Christianity. And the reason is because one person says, well, God told me that this verse means this. And then you got another guy that says, well, God told me that this verse means this. And another guy says, no, God told me this verse means this. What do you have? 9,337 Holy Spirits? Is that what we have?
I think when people say that, sometimes Yah is giving you a personal message and trying to get you,
exactly,
trying to speak to you personally about this thing, right, and trying to get through our thick heads. Yeah. Can that one thing mean all of that? Absolutely, because we know that in one word, we're going to have continuous revelation through it, possibly forever. But sometimes Yah is just giving you a word and an understanding for you at that moment in time. And you don't run out and start a denomination, but you want to know something? The same thing happens in the Messianic Hebrew root circles too.
Big time.
Oh yeah. I
know.
Studying Torah for 1 month. I'm going to go start my own denomination of Torah, my own congregation. I disagree with them on this thing, and so I'm going to go start my own. They forget that one of the wonderful things about being a Hebrew word person is that you can disagree on the thing on the table, but that doesn't cut off fellowship. Do you disagree with your brother and sister and your mom and dad, or agree on everything? Absolutely not. So do you think our brothers and sisters in our congregations are going to agree on everything? Absolutely not. But you don't cut off fellowship. Anyway, that's a whole other sermon.
You remember what Bonnie used to say was it's multiplication by division.
It is multiplication by division.
It is.
That's why John and I have said explicitly before, we don't want you coming from another congregation to this congregation unless really not. If you do, you need to walk it out, and you need to talk to your previous congregation leader, and you need to talk it through with them. If it's a misunderstanding, y'all need to work it out. Yep. What we need to be doing to build our congregations is all those people out there that have no congregation. When I'm talking that, I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about don't know and don't understand. We need to be that light. And if we're supposed to be light and we're not bringing people in, then what good is that light? I would dare say that we have lost our saltiness, a salt that's lost its saltiness, because we need to be going beyond our borders and hitting the community at large. We're supposed to be taking dominion of that which the enemy has stolen, And how you do that is you don't recycle people. You know,
Yeah.
so if people want to come, great. You still also don't abandon. You've got to be led by God. And okay, I said God, sorry. Yehovah. But
We're good.
yeah, you know, we need to be earthly good. That's all I can say. And if it's just us studying and just us four and no more, and I'm just using that as a rhyme, but what good are we? And I mean, what you're doing here, these radios, these waves, these words that you put forth go out all over the world.
Right.
Somebody can go on YouTube, on Twitch, on wherever they're looking, on the website. They're going out all over the world, and people will come across those words, people that never even know. Yeah, and they may look at a program like this, and all of a sudden, that seems a little fun. I want to hear what they have to say, because we're not hitting them with it in the face at the very beginning.
Exactly.
And they'll get interested, and then something will be tweaked within them, you know?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I didn't mean for the show to be preachy.
Well,
So,
no.
But it is in my nature.
I have no intentions. I never have been, nor will I ever be pious. I'm not gonna just say this is the only way and you got to do it this way or you're going to hell. I used to. I was I was part of Hellfire and Damnation people and traveled around, did tent revivals and said, get saved today or you're going to hell tomorrow, So anyway, the old riled up part of me anyway. All right. Well,
can you believe your word, your event, or what happened today has brought out all this discussion?
Oh yeah. They always do. That's why I say I can bring up practically anything. You and I can. It's what I tell people. If you have the gift of gab, you can bring up any conversation and bring it around to God, and we'll do it right.
But for me, that's my life, and that's what I know.
That's our
and that's why I was telling my sister yesterday. I told her, I said, I'm going on with Mark again tomorrow. I said, I'm going to be boring. And I said, Mark's fun. And I said, but Mark's fun and exciting. And I said, I just don't know how to get off the God subject. And I said, so I don't remember which person I am, but we balance, I guess, because I'm always in that corner and he makes it light and fun and happy and exciting. And I'm blah, blah, blah. So,
well, for the first time in your life, you're wrong.
Okay.
I find you a lot of fun. Or if you were boring and, just pious, I would find somebody else to do a show with, Sandy. So you're not. You're not pious, and you are a lot of fun, and you play into the things that I give you, and we both have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, we do. We do.
And I like it. So, I mean, what have we only done? Couple of thousand shows together,
just a couple thousand. That's it.
By now, I think I would have, got rid of you if I didn't, like. So, yeah,
that's true.
We balance.
That's true. We balance.
All right.
But
we
have our roles. We do each have our roles. So.
That's right. We have about 10 minutes left in the show. Are you able to do?
I think that's plenty.
Sanders Corner. All right, we'll be right back after this.
It's a ragged tent where there ain't no.
Now, again, we were discussing the important seat. The shoe is his word is seat. And he is word, shoe is word God. Let me ask the question. There's no seat. It's very important. It's very important. It's very important. You're supposed to send so we feel the reduced years without being choked out by the beats, without falling on the ground. They all know these are but yes, we do exist with this. We do have issues with the one of the epistles and that was not the original. Yeah, that's the word. He's working. Sean Lawrence. One six five. In the word with God. He was in the God. All these names.
Brother Love's show.
That's going to be a meme on social media.
Oh well. Well, tell you this: Sandra's Corner is going to consist of. You're never going to know. I can tell you that right now. It could be the word, it could be the tour portion, it could be something different. I don't know. I'll have to. I spent time struggling, and I'd study something out. I'd be like, or put something together, like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. And then I was reading the news last night, and it infuriated me, and I was like, that's it. So here we go. This was the title from The Blaze, and it says Satan struts at Paris Fashion Week, and it has it. So Paris Fashion Week. Should we really be shocked because we look at things like we just look at society today, look around, look at people, look at what they're looking at, not judging them, but we know people by their fruit, and we know whose they are. We know people by their fruit. Let's just leave it at that. And we know that the Super Bowl and everything, movies, TV, media, all of it, and even people's view has changed so much towards an occultic side. And the occult, which was once you should taboo, or you did, if you were in it, you sure didn't let people know. Now it's hey, I do this stuff, and it's almost praised. And so we look, is it going to change even in what they put in front of us to try to convince us this is the way we should look, this is the way what we should wear, this is the way we should be? Yeah, it is. And it happened in Fashion Week because they romanticize darkness big time, big time. And we need to know that there is a price to pay anytime darkness is glorified. There's something happens, there's a shift. It's that lowering the frog boiling in the water. Something happens because things become normalized even more so than they were. The occult is out there, and it has Lucifer. That this fashion show and some of the designers, there were Luciferian ties for sure. And you think back in time, even what to do. If a model has been described before as a hanger, just a living, walking, breathing hanger. Wow. So they starve themselves, and sometimes there's bad consequences, even fatal. But it's this worship of things that we're seeing now that's being glorified, of hideous, perverted, and things that are disturbing. It should be disturbing to you and I. If it's not disturbing, you need to have a check.
Yeah.
Because we need to remember that it hit the fashion show now, which is usually considered beautiful. What was Lucifer? Lucifer was supposed to be beautiful and an angel of light, but what happened? Okay, yeah. So here we have these dark creations that are now being made, that are being brought out, and it speaks so much, but it will influence society even beyond what we know. So before I say any more, I'm going to go ahead, and Mark's going to put some pictures of some of these designs. This first one is Noriki Ninomiya. I'm not sure which way to say any of these names, so please forgive me. And it's quoted here. It's a hell-worthy collection, goes to Japanese women's wear. It founded in 2012 by designer Kei Ninomiya. And it says it was described on Vogue runways as gloom made tangible. It's celebrated for its darkly poetic gothic romance feel. Now, guys, does that feel like romance? And you see in their bondage, animalistic horror, and disturbing fascination with morbidity. Yeah, that's what's on the runway now. Now you go to the next one, Fontes Riches de Primus, and he gets and Blaze goes on to say he gets the silver medal. It goes to Henri Alexander Levy. Levi. Can you believe that's his last name? Huh? And his brand is what I just spoke of. And he used Marilyn Manson. Now, if you don't remember Marilyn Manson, we can pull Marilyn Manson up real quick.
Yeah.
Because that's showing the 60s and the 80s and how things, and even the 90s, how things have changed. That was on the runway before. And that seems, that's doable. And then we see things that are being brought out now. Yeah, see, we can see ourselves wearing those kind of clothes as girls. Anyway, keep going. We're going to go down to Marilyn Manson. And so you look here, and it's just described as the dark underground aesthetic didn't already make the designer sensibility clear. Manson, the Bible burning crucifixion simulating shock rocker, opens the show in full gothic makeup. Yeah, it shows him, but I don't know.
Hold up,
It's full gothic makeup. And
there we go.
There we go. That he opened the show. Yeah. And in this performance, not just him, but the show goes on after him. It has a nearly nude model bound. Now I think you have a picture of that too, somewhere in there. Bound and chained to an obsidian. There you go, right there. You passed it. Up one. Up, go. Not yet. That's the last guy. Go back up. Go back up.
Go back to here.
Right there. Right there. No, down now. Right there. There you go. Right there.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Nearly nude model bound and chained to an obsidian statue of a man's head in a theatrical exaltation of bondage, captivity, and ritualistic sacrifice. Now, this is all quoted from The Blaze. So, anyway, and the guy that makes this said, this is what he said: no pieces are alike and everything is limited. And I have no interest in making affordable pieces for the masses because, anyway, anyway, there you go. That's number 2. He, according to Blaze, he gets the silver medal for horrible things. Now we're going to go to our final one and listen to this. Matieros Fecales. That's the name. Well, it's a provocative Paris-based fashion label, but actually translated, and because this guy was from Canada, it means fecal matter. That's the label.
Oh man.
But in Paris, it sounds much more,
Wow.
Anyway, so you look at this and look what it's glorious. People call that fashion. I don't get it. I don't get it because, it's just ridiculous. This article says, if any glamour is to be found in the clothing itself, it's certainly eclipsed by its deliberate morbidity, but assess the amalgamation of body horror prosthetics, vampiric ensembles, and bloodstained opulence for yourself. Now go down one more. That's some more of his show. Look at the faces of those people. That's what they're doing to the models as they walk down the runway. So he said it's a criticism of elite wealth and power and corruption. Really, dude, you're just making stuff up. But he is both a celebration and attempt to normalize an objective evil. And I would say this, guys, can you consider this is how far we've fallen? I mean, yes, we know where it's falling. More evil gets more evil as Yah's glory gets greater, his light becomes more light. We understand that. But right here, no matter how much we think it doesn't, the runways influence, they trickle down to the things you see at the stores and even the ideas that come to our young people. I mean, when things happen in California, you eventually see them throughout the rest of the country, and I don't even want to go there. But what I'm wanting to show you guys is just, and we don't have to keep that on because it's so awful. But I mean, that's up to you. But wow,
yeah,
it's out there. You
you.
don't try to hide evil. You don't try to hide the occult anymore. People are praised for it. They're praised for being part of the enemy's kingdom. And yeah, you may say, well, you can't judge. Okay, I'm not. Maybe they're not. But I do judge their fruit because we are told to be fruit judgers. And the fruit stinks.
Rotten to the core.
Yeah.
This is the world we live in.
Exactly. It goes right along with our title, the world we live in right now. But what's the requirement that we have? As that is more evil and more horrific, we have a job to do. As we've said, as I've said it in Mark, but I've said several times in this show, we have to be light and we have to take dominion. That is, our job has not changed since the garden. We still are supposed to take dominion and multiply. And it doesn't mean we necessarily have to multiply by our own physical children. We need spiritual children. What we say and what we do should have influence. And that's why we've got to watch what we say and what we do and how we act and how we respond, because we are being watched. And maybe that will move, but also sometimes there's action that's required for us to get beyond our comfort zone and do and be the hands and feet of our Messiah.
Amen. Amen. It's just ridiculous, but I all I could do is see that we are closer to going home. And it just amazes me that people have plummeted to such a low point. All right, we got to go. We're done.
We filmed it.
We did it. We're great. We did our first show, Sandy. It's good. This 2000 show 2001. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, we got to go. I need to say one of the things we're going to try to do at the end of the show every week is say anything that's going to happen on LAM. So, for instance, this Friday at 7 p.m., Rabbi Daryl Weinberg will broadcast a special show called Deliverance Service: Renouncing Oaths to Freemasonry. So you might want to watch that. I hope you watch it. I think it's really good. Daryl's studied this for years and taught on this. But and tomorrow I do the show Let Us Reason Together, Friday edition. For the past 7 weeks, we've been talking about what happened during the last 70 years. All three of us on the show are 70 years old. So we've been, it's been a great fun. So Sandy, good doing a show with you again. I had a lot of fun.
Me too.
And you're a fun person.
Okay.
There we go. Don't let John tell you different. All right. Okay. Love y'all. We'll see you next week for an even better show. God bless. Shavua Tov.
If you missed today's show or want to watch it again or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lamnetwork.tv where you will find this show and all other live Lamb show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell somebody about the Messianic Lamb Network.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.